Hi class, this is your instructor, and I want to finish talking about how to post uh, your transactions from your general journal into your general ledger. And I thought it might just be easier if I pull up one of the problems from the Chapter 4 homework. And so I'm really on question 7, but I just thought we'd do a couple transactions and show you how to post those. So it says on October 1st, Wilson Adams invested $57,000 cash in the business. So in your general journal, you're going to debit the cash account for $57,000, and you're going to credit Wilson Adams capital for $57,000. And normally on the third line you'd write a short description of your transactions, but this particular program doesn't have us do that. Okay, on the next transaction, we paid the October office rent of $2,850, and we wrote a check 1001. So I come down here on the second, I paid the October rent, and I wrote a check. So I'm going to debit rent expense because it's rent for the current month. It's not prepaid in advance for several months. And I'm going to credit the cash account for $2,850. And then I would normally write a description, check 1001 for rent. Okay, say that I record all my transactions in my journal and I'm ready to go down and post to the general ledger. What I'm going to do is go line for line. I'm going to take each line of my general journal and record it in whatever account I posted or I recorded it to. So this first one is a debit to cash of $57,000. So I'm going to go down to the cash account. Here it says I'm in the cash account. October 1st, I'm debiting it for $57,000. And because I don't have a beginning balance, I just bring over the debit amount of $57,000 into my balance debit column. Now this is a running balance. So if I add money to the business, I add it in. If I subtract money out of the business, I subtract it from my total. Generally, all the asset accounts will always have debit balances, a running debit balance, because that's the normal balance side. Okay, so I would normally take account 101 and go up here in my journal and tell it that I posted this to account 101. But this particular program doesn't have that. So I'm going to credit Wilson Adams capital for $57,000. So I go down to the capital account and I'm crediting the capital account for $57,000. And again, because it doesn't have a beginning balance, I'm just going to bring over my credit balance of $57,000. Okay. Next is I'm going to debit rent expense for $2,850. So I go down to the rent expense account. I'm debiting rent expense for $2,850, and I'm bringing my balance over for $2,850. Okay. The next line is a credit to cash of $2,850. So I go to my cash account. This time I'm going to credit cash for $2,850. Now, I have a debit balance in the cash account with a credit entry. So if I have a debit and a credit, I subtract the two and I put the new balance in the side that was bigger to begin with. And since the debit balance is bigger than the credit amount, I still have a debit balance. So $57,000 minus $2,850. Getting out my calculator. Should be $54,150. If I did that right. Yep, $54,150. Okay, and so each time that you post an amount, whether it's a debit or a credit, you bring your total over. You keep this as a running total in the balance column here and just record the balance as you go. So that should kind of get you started on posting.